Hi there, Excel guy back again, and what we're going to look at now is how we can insert an average value. So we're going to look back at the file we were looking at earlier, and here what we're going to do is we're going to put in an average value in here. But if you notice, this is the monthly section, so I need to choose the average from the actual months themselves. Now the way I do that is by using this button up here, and I insert average. It automatically selects a region above it to find the average of. Now what I could do is grab the box and change that region, but this would be incorrect because this would then give me the average of the quarter totals as well and the overall total, which would really distort my figures. So what I'm going to do instead is click and drag, and that selects a new region for my average to be. So if I So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete what's in there and choose average again, but now rather than using the range that it's suggested, I click and drag to create a new range, and I'm now going to hold down the control key to select the non-contiguous areas which I want to find the average of. This is now telling me it's got the average of B6 to B8, B11 to B13, B16 to B18, and B21 to B23, which is correct. So now I press enter, and that has given me the average, and once again I drag across to fill the formula for the averages in the individual cells going across. Okay, so that's the average there, and that's the average there. Okay, we can do the same thing for finding the maximums, except rather than using the average, we use the maximum value here. Once again, this is the monthly figures, so I click and drag, holding down the control, click and drag, still holding control while I do those last two areas, then release the control and press enter. Now the maximum figure is 3.5 million and 3.5. If we scroll up, we should be able to see that in March 3.521, 3.521, so that's picked the maximum. Let's do the same now for the minimum, and as you guess, you go up here, choose min, again click and drag, hold down the control key, click and drag over the different regions. That's now given us our minimum value, press enter, and it's filled it for us. Now what we can do is, if you remember, when we clicked and dragged, it copied the formulas across from the single cell. We've now got two formulas. We can click and drag, and it fills both sets of cells. Now there we have a really big figure, 12.5 million. So just to check that's right, if you look up here in December, we do have a 12.5 million. If you do see an anomaly, it's always a good idea just to check back, because you may have made a mistake when you put the function in. Now when we come to do the quarterly figures, we do it in a very similar way. So again, I click on here, choose average, but rather than choosing the default figures again, this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the quarterly figures. Now I don't have to click and drag here, but if I hold down the control key and click on individual cells, that will now give me the average of those individual cells. So again, I press enter, and it's put in the value. I'm going to do the same for the maximums. Again, holding down control, clicking the quarterly figures, and pressing enter. And the bottom one here, this is the minimum. And now again with these three cells this time, I'm going to drag across to the right to fill in all the remaining formulas. And you'll see now that actually we had a 14 million somewhere, and the 14 million again relates to that 12.5 million. To the 14 million was the fourth quarter, and these are the quarterly maximum figures. Okay, that's it for using the average and the maximum and minimum. I hope that's been useful. This is Excel Guy. and I look forward to seeing you soon.